Meditate scripts, study precepts. It's how you get built up. Read a little bit. Meditate scripts, study precepts. It's how you get built up. Class comes on 7 days of the week, 3 times a day. I.U.I.C. Class comes on 7 days of the week, 3 times a day. I.U.I.C. Log on. You bound to fall, you not keeping these laws, statutes, and the commandments. Christ gon' return like a thief in the night, and the wicked gon' perish. You bound to fall, you not keeping these laws, statutes, and the commandments. Christ gon' return like a thief in the night, and the wicked gon' perish. Last night I had a dream and took the kingdom.
Welcome to the Jew Journal. Today, I am your host, Officer Zakar, with my co-host,
Soldier Nathaniel.
And today's episode is going to be about a teenage girl in Tampa who committed suicide, unfortunately, off of a naked video from Snapchat that was leaked online. We're going to pull some scriptures out of the Bible to give some more understanding on that, and Lord's will, it won't happen to someone else. They'll actually wake up and understand that. Learn, right. That's not of God. That's one thing that the Israelites, the blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians should not be committing, all right? So let's start off here. Let's go to 2 Timothy. Let's start off there, 2 Timothy 3:16, one of my favorite scriptures here in the Bible.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
All right, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness.
So the scriptures we're going to go over today, just understand that it is inspired by God.
Right.
And it is profitable for reproof, to make you better. That's what reproof is, for correction. You may be in error right now, but you can get yourself right. The words of God are able to do that. So in today's case, we're talking about the teenage girl. Some people may be suffering from depression or from bullying or be thinking about suicide. We want to pull out some scriptures today to help you out of that, so you can correct yourself or make yourself better and learn from those things. First thing we want to bring out and address for you to know that everybody that says that they're your friend are not actually your friend. A lot of people say they are friend in word but not in actions. And the Bible talks about that. So let's get that. Let's go to Sirach, chapter 6 in the Apocrypha. We're going to go to chapter 6 and verse 7. Find out some key points, something we can learn from on what a friend is and what a friend is not. We can find out those attributes of real friends.
How do you actually find good friends?
How do you find good friends, and what to be aware of people who are acting like they're your friends, right? So read 6 and 7.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
So the first thing God is giving you advice on when it comes to friends is prove them. Another word for prove means to test them, feel them out, take them through a process. And we're telling you that because with this teenage girl that committed suicide, it was supposedly her friends that took that nude video of her in the shower and put it online for everybody to see. So the first thing you got to understand is, who is your friends? How do you find friends? God says to do what again?
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
Don't be so fast to call somebody your friend just because they got the same quote-unquote hair color as you. Don't be...
Y'all watch the same TV shows.
Y'all watch the same TV show, or y'all got a crush on the same boy in high school, which you young girls shouldn't even be having boyfriends. You shouldn't be having, you young boys shouldn't have girlfriends. That's not of God at all. But you can't base your decisions of friends on very trivial things. Or you gossip about somebody, you don't like her, you don't like him either, so y'all friends now. That ain't how God says you find friends. Why? Read on.
Verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion.
Because that person you calling your friend might be your friend just for their own benefit. That's what it means, for their own occasion, for their own benefit, that they can get something out of you, and they'll play like they're your good friend just until they get what they want. Read on.
And will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach.
And enmity and strife will discover thy reproach. That person that you thought was your friend, and you entrusted personal things to them, like this young girl, I don't know the details of her being in over someone else's place in their shower, but I'm pretty sure whoever she thought was their friend, she entrusted them that they wouldn't walk in and be filming them naked and put on the World Wide Web. Because what happens here, she didn't prove the friends. Read that in verse 9 again.
Verse 9. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach.
They really don't like you, and then they get something on you that they can use against you.
And that's that part is important as well, because like you said, you got to prove a friend, because you never know the intentions of those people who actually try to say they're your friend. They might have some bad intentions in the long run of actually why they're trying to be close to you. They might be trying to put something out on you, just like, you know, this incident that happened. You never know the reason.
Exactly right. Read verse 10.
Verse 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants.
Some of us have friends that are only around when you got money. They only, when you're doing good. They only with you when you want to go to the club. When you want to go look for some quote-unquote hoes or some future baby daddies or some sugar daddies. They only your friends at that time. Other than that, you don't hear from them. You don't really talk to them. You really don't know them at all.
Text,
no phone call, no text. Only in the midst of wickedness. Read on. Verse 12.
Verse 12. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face.
So because if you don't prove this friend to make sure they're genuine in their friendship with you, I mean, God says that when you on the bottom, when you need that help, you need that call, you need that condolences from a friend, they'll be nowhere to be found. Because you didn't go through that proving stage. You gave them credit too hastily. And they were never with you from the get-go, from the beginning, with right intentions. Go to Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. And it's a reason why those things happen in this day and time. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I know for a lot of us, friendship, people, they have more solid friendships like our fathers and things. They grew up with lifelong friends. Nowadays, there's really no friendships unless it's based on wickedness. People leave and go, come and go in your life in a season like Christianity or heartbeat. Because there is a proven stage, and also because of this reason right here. Matthew 24 and 12.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Because sin has abounded, has become so relevant, so prevalent in today's society, so built on friendships. Friendships are built on sin. The love of many has waxed cold, grown cold, where there's no real friendships. It's based on wickedness. How do we know that? Because many of us here at Israel United in Christ, and maybe in your situation also, when you finally came into the knowledge of God, that you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were actually the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, the chosen people of God, and you wanted to take this to the people that you thought were your friends, your family, that love grew cold real quick. They didn't want anything to do with you no more. They wanted to cut you off. They wanted to say all kind of evil things like you was crazy.
Because you're not benefiting them no more.
Because
you're
not
doing what
benefiting.
they want to do. They ain't trying to hear that.
You're not in the midst of their wickedness anymore. So read that again.
It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Because sin is so prevalent and all through this earth, especially in America and in Babylon the Great, the love of people have grown cold, where you can have some instances where people will be getting beat up. And what do our people yell? World Star.
World Star.
Instead of helping the person, they're yelling World Star, filming the person getting beat up in a fight, getting jumped, get hit by a car. Go ahead.
That all comes into hatred as well, because our people, we don't know who we are. You know what I'm saying? So when we see our brothers and sisters, we don't see them as how can I say it? We don't see them as our brothers. Actually, we see them as our enemies.
Right,
Even though we
right.
have enemies that are actually out there, we see each other as enemies. You have the whole light skin versus dark
Right.
skin thing. We have hatred amongst our sisters because they see one sister that may look better than them, so to speak, or it's a man that they want
Right.
that's interested in
And
that
that could have
sister.
been the case in this
Right,
this
exactly.
young girl. She, from the reports, news reports, in the video that we'll show you here a little later,
Right.
she was 15 years old. I think she was a freshman in the Temple school. She was a very beautiful young girl.
Right,
She
right,
might have
right.
had a friend that was actually jealous of her
Exactly.
and wanted
No.
to bring her down.
Right. So I wanted to get 2 Timothy chapter 3,
Okay.
verse 1, to go into that reason when you say many shall wax cold.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
it's a lot
The
of
love.
hatred amongst our people because of these reasons right here. 2 Timothy.
2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1.
Mhm.
It says, "This know also, that in the last days
Mhm.
perilous times shall come."
So if you haven't known now, we are actually living in the last
Right.
days. And it said in the last days, what shall come?
Perilous times shall come.
So perilous, meaning troublous or dangerous times shall come in these last days. Right?
For man shall be lovers of their own selves.
So we always see that. We see that every day. It said men shall be lovers of their own selves. Conceited, women as well. Go
and
ahead.
you know where you see that a lot at?
Uh-huh.
Selfies.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Somebody's
right.
always taking selfies.
Selfie sticks now.
Selfie
Yeah, it's
sticks.
serious.
That's what that's talking about. It's going into other things too, but
Right,
that's just
right,
one
exactly.
form of it.
Right.
It says, "For man shall be lovers of their own selves,
Mhm.
covetous."
Covetous. So that's one of the reasons why the wax cold, our love wax cold amongst each other, because we're covetous of one another, meaning
Right.
envious or jealous.
Mhm.
You see a brother or sister, we think that they doing better than us, they got better clothes, they look better, whatever it may be, and we're actually covetous or envious, jealous of one another.
Right. Boasters,
Uh-huh.
proud,
Proud.
blasphemers,
Mhm.
disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy.
So this is how we actually know that the Bible is true, because we see all of this stuff today.
Right. Exactly right.
Verse 3.
Without natural affection.
So it says without natural affection, meaning no feeling at all. People don't care. So that's why you see these things about, you know what I'm saying, a so-called friend taking videos of a friend or another
Right.
friend in
In
the
the
shower
shower.
and then blasting it on social media, because
Right.
our people don't have no affections at all. They don't care about each other.
That's exactly right. And then it goes on to say right here, truce breakers.
Yep, as well.
What was the truce that this young girl had with the other girl that supposedly videotaped
Friend,
that
right.
she was her friend?
Right, right.
And whoever that was that did that
Mhm.
broke the truce of the friendship.
Right.
Because she didn't go through the stages of proving a friend first. Hasty to credit.
Exactly, right.
Exactly right. So let's go back to Proverbs now. Let's go to chapter of Proverbs 22, and I want to go to verse 6 because this young girl had friends,
Mhm.
but it's another aspect of that we got to touch on,
Right.
and it's falling on the parents.
Mhm.
Give
Right,
me that
right, right,
Proverbs
right.
22 and 6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from
Read
it.
that again from the top.
Train up a child in the way he should go.
So it's our job as parents to train up our children,
Right.
our teenage girls, our teenage boys that are in high school, that have all this peer pressure around them,
Right.
all this pressure to conform to what's out there in society. It is very important, very prevalent that we train them up in how to choose a friend.
Right.
Because we read in Sirach, some friends are a friend for their own occasion,
Right.
for their own purpose. But if we as parents are not training up the children on how to be on the lookout and what characteristics to find, a true friend,
Right.
you'll be grabbing the wrong friends, bringing them into your circle.
Right.
And then you'll have trouble like this young girl did, where she ended up committing suicide ultimately, which is tragic.
Right.
Jump up to verse 15, why it's so important. Well, before we go to verse 15, go to Deuteronomy.
All right.
Go to Deuteronomy chapter 6.
6.
What are we supposed to train them up in?
Exactly.
Deuteronomy 6, I want verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you.
So in chapter 6, the topic of it is the commandments of God.
Right.
These are the commandments of God that we are supposed to teach But who are we supposed to teach? Jump up to verse 7.
Verse 7, and thou shalt teach them diligently.
Teach the commandments of God diligently
Right.
to your sons and daughters on how to find a friend, what characteristics to go to,
Right.
how to prove them, and not be hasty to credit them.
Right.
Read that from the top again.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
All the time you're supposed to be asking your daughters, your sons, what type of friends they got.
Right.
What did they do? What kind of family does he come from? What did he say? What you think about him?
Right.
Because if you leave it up to your children, what's going to happen? Proverbs 22 and 15.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
They'll choose friends based on foolishness.
Right.
If you don't train them up in what a true friend is, they'll pick friends on foolishness like we mentioned earlier.
Right.
Oh, you don't like her, I don't like her either. We friends.
Let's be friends.
Oh, you good in basketball, I'm good in basketball too. We friends.
Right.
Oh, you can draw, I can draw too. Man, we friends.
Right.
Oh, you smoke, I smoke too. Oh, we friends.
Right.
You like that girl, I like that girl too. We friends. You like getting all these hoes too? Oh, we friends.
Right.
Children will pick friends based on foolishness and not on substance.
Right.
Not on substance like God says, where you won't be in the case of being betrayed, like that young girl was, by someone you entrusted. So read that again.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
Foolishness is going to be bound in our children, so we have to train them up in the laws of God on what true and real friends are.
Right.
So when we come back from this commercial break here at the Jew Journal, we are going to dive in detail on what are the characteristics of real friends,
right,
according to God and not according to our own foolishness. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Picture gold dust in your hair, jewelry everywhere. We don't even touch the ground, no. All the streets are paved with gold, you know. Wave your hands to the sky, all praises to the Most High, for giving us the breath of life and raising up the 12 tribes. Wave your hands to the sky, all praises to the Most High, for giving us the breath of life and raising up the 12 tribes. Oh, loudmouth women, effeminate men, men in skirts, women in pants, but Christ gave us all a chance to rule the earth again. Picture this, my friend.
Local police report to the FBI killing at least 400 people a year. From 2006 to 2012, a white police officer killed a black person at least twice a week in this country. It is too clear for dispute that the enslaved African race were not intended to be included and formed no part of the people who framed and adopted this declaration. And he went on to say that black men had no rights, which the white man was bound to respect. No rights, which the white man was bound to respect. No rights, which the white man was bound to respect. No rights, which the white man was bound to respect.
Baby crawls before it walks, babbles before it talks. Grown man comes in the truth, goes back the second time into his mother's womb. Come on, you know what I'm saying. Understand when I say you gotta be born again to even get salvation, yeah. No time for a fool, cause he doesn't want the evil to be reproved. I promise you all, if or when you do fall, cause everybody falls, be sure to stand up tall now. Fall down, stand up. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but what makes you different than everybody is keeping these laws. Fall down, stand up. Fall down, stand up. Fall down, stand up. Stand up.
despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness.
So it says we despise the word and trust in oppression. We trust the so-called white man. Regardless of all the black people getting shot down, we still trust him.
He shouldn't have been killed in that way. He shouldn't have been killed in any way. He should be here celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything else with his children and his grandchildren.
Let me tell you something. You cannot be mad against racism and injustice, then turn around and celebrate racist, unjust holidays. That's contradiction. It makes no sense.
Cast down, but not destroyed. We glory in tribulation, knowing it works patience, then experience, then hope. Move forward. I promise you all, it won't swing you too far, 'cause everybody knows it's yours to stand up tall. Stand up. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but what makes you different than everybody is keeping these laws. Fall down, stand up. Fall down, stand up. Fall down, stand up. Stand up, stand up. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but what makes you different than everybody is keeping these laws.
Welcome back to the Jew Journal again. I'm your host, Officer Zakar, and this is. And before we left here, we was going over how a parent is supposed to train up a child on how to actually choose a friend, because foolishness is bound in a child. They'll choose friends on very, very foolish things, very trivial things. So what are the characteristics then of a good friend according to the Bible, so we'll know how to choose one? We don't end up in situations like that young girl did. Let's go to Sirach chapter 6. Going back to that chapter there. All right. Sirach chapter 6, we're going to start at verse 14.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 14. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure.
So these are going into some of the things of how good it is to find a real friend according to God. It says it's a strong defense, a faithful friend is, and you found one just like yourself. So you expect you to be faithful to that person and them to be faithful to you. Read on.
Verse 15. Nothing doth contravail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
Invaluable. Read on.
A faithful friend is the medicine of life.
So to choose your friend wisely and not to be too hasty to credit them, God says that's the medicine of life. They can keep you from situations like that young girl ended up in. Being in the bathroom, locked in there with the lights off by herself, and shooting herself in the head.
I'm Keith Cate.
And I'm Stacy Scheibel. Thank you for joining us tonight. A Wesley Chapel mother is looking for justice after her 15-year-old daughter took her own life. She blames bullying after a nude video of her daughter was posted to Snapchat just hours before her death. Candace McCowan now joins us live from Wiregrass Ranch High School. That's in Wesley Chapel. And boy, students there ended the year on what a sad note.
Indeed, Stacy, Tavana Holton should have been finishing the last day of her freshman year here at Wiregrass Ranch High School today, but instead, her parents are planning her funeral, and the Pasco County Sheriff's Office is investigating what happened. There's really no words to describe this mother's pain. LaVon Holton Teamer finding her 15-year-old dead.
Then I go to the bathroom. I couldn't get in the bathroom. The bathroom light was off. So I tried to get out there and I looked down. I seen a puddle of blood.
LaVon telling me they had to break the door down to get to Tavana, who had taken her mother's gun from her purse.
So I tried to apply the pressure to her head and try to save her.
Hours earlier, Tavana had expressed to her mother that something was wrong. Tavana mentioning her friends had a photo.
I want to say, Mommy, Mommy, I owe them. I owe them. I said, what you mean you owe them?
After Tavana's suicide, the teen's family took to Facebook in search of answers, only to find out the picture was really a video thought to be shot by a good friend that's been shared with dozens.
She videotaped her while she was taking a shower.
Everybody was up there talking about her and calling her names and everything. And they said went up on social media, was Snapchat. I'd never heard of that before. About 3-something that afternoon.
3 hours later, Tavana was dead. Tavana's story is viral, shared on social media thousands of times with the hashtag #StopBullying. This family is now seeking justice.
I want to actually let them pay exactly, feel what we're feeling, that we've lost. Even if their child is convicted or in trouble, they can go visit their child.
My baby, my baby.
Well, we reached out to the Pasco County School District today. They told me that they handed the investigation over to the Sheriff's Department, and we reached out to them as well. They say they are aware of the video. They are investigating, but so far, no arrest. Stacey?
Boy, and just torture to watch that mother's pain. Do you know if she reported that bullying to school before this?
Yeah, she tells me she did come up to the school many times to report this bullying. She was even considering taking her daughter out of this school next year, but she says she wasn't always satisfied with the responses she got here. I did reach out to the school district and to the sheriff's office. Neither one of them wanted to speak on camera today.
All right, Candace McCowan live in Pasco County. So sad. Thank you.
A young life gone because she didn't have a faithful friend that was able to provide her medicine, healing in her life. Read on.
And they that fear the Lord shall find him.
And they that fear the Lord, which means keep the commandments of God.
Right.
You'll find faithful friends because you'll find somebody else that keeps the commandments of God, that understands that to be looking on someone else's nakedness is a commandment of God you are not supposed to do.
Right.
That faithful friend will know that. But you have to keep the commandments yourself in order to find a friend that is keeping the commandments along with you also. Read verse 17 now.
Verse 17. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright.
So fearing the Lord is going to direct, he's going to give you the wisdom of how to navigate and choose a friend right. The Lord will send you and he'll put that spirit in. No, that's not, don't be around them. Something ain't right with them.
Right.
But if you're in the midst of wickedness, the spirit of the Lord can't dwell in you, and you'll find yourself with people that are not of God, people that are only about trouble, that get you into trouble and want you to come along with them in that trouble. Let's go to Sirach chapter 7. Jump over to 7 verse 18.
All right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 18.
When you found that faithful friend, what does it say?
Change not a friend for any good by no means, neither a faithful brother for thy gold of Ophir.
For the gold of Ophir. Right. Don't even change a friend for that. At all costs, you keep that faithful friend. If you have disagreements between that friend or you're not seeing eye to eye, God says you got to reconcile that. Don't change them out for the gold of Ophir. But if you do have a true friend, a real friend, let's go to Sirach chapter 40.
All right.
This is how you know you got a true friend and what it says.
The book of Sirach, chapter 40, verse
we want to read 23.
Chapter 40, verse 23. A friend and companion never meet amiss.
So if you've got a true friend that's guided in the commandments of God, you found them through the fear of the Lord. And y'all on the same page. God says a true friend and a companion, because that friend's going to be your companion, you'll never meet amiss. You'll be on the same page like, hey, I don't think we should do that.
Right.
Yeah, you right. You're right. I don't think so. I'm gonna take your advice because I know you my friend. You ain't out to set me up to do no harm to me.
Right, you can trust them.
You can trust them, just like who we read in the Bible, Jonathan and David. Let's get that example out of the Bible of how Jonathan and David dealt with each other.
All right. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 20, verse 17. Actually, start at verse 16.
Go ahead.
So Jonathan made a covenant with the house of David, saying, let the Lord even require it at the hand of David's enemies. And Jonathan caused David to swear again, because he loved him, for he loved him as he loved his own soul.
So Jonathan loved David. He wasn't king at this time, but he loved David as he loved his own soul. That is a true friend right there. that, because David feared the Lord.
Right.
And he directed his friendships aright, and he found somebody that was what? Faithful like himself.
Right.
So faithful that he was willing to give up his rulership because Jonathan was next in line to become the king.
Right.
But Jonathan understood that God was dealing with David, and he had no problems with David becoming the king.
Right.
He even saved David's life a few times from his father Saul, who tried to kill him. Why? Because he loved him as he loved his own self.
And that goes back into what you just read as well. Sirach chapter 6, going back to verse 14. It says, "A faithful friend is a strong defense."
Right.
So just like you said, even with Jonathan and David, he saved Jonathan from his own father. He saved David from his own father, even trying to kill him. Why? Because he was a friend to David, and he was a defense to him as well.
And he loved, it says here, read that verse 17 in 1 Samuel 20.
Verse 17, Jonathan caused David to swear again because he loved him, for he loved him as he loved his own soul.
He loved his own soul. That's the kind of friends that we got to seek to find.
Right.
In the understanding of God, of who we are, that we are the Israelites.
Right.
We can't base our friendships on such trivial things. We got to prove a friend and be not hasty to credit him.
Right.
Or we can end up in situations where that friend can be a reproach to us, reveal things that we entrusted into them because we moved too fast and didn't take the counsel of God from the Bible. Right? So let's go back to Sirach. I want to read Sirach chapter 9, verse 10.
The book of Sirach, chapter 9, verse 10. Kindle not the coals of...
Sirach 9 and 10.
I'm sorry. Sirach chapter 9, verse 10. Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him.
Why would you forsake not an old friend? Because you and an old friend, y'all got history together.
Right.
Y'all done been through some things together. Y'all know each other.
Right.
And don't forsake them for a new friend just because somebody else comes into the picture and they might have have something that you like.
Right.
I know that's happened to plenty of you women out there and some of you brothers out there. Some person that just comes out of nowhere, and now the faithful old friend now is kicking it with the new person more than you when you got history. God says, do what again? Verse 10?
Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him.
Y'all don't have the same history as you and the old friend, but in time, what happens? Read on.
A new friend is as new wine. When it is old, thou shalt drink it with pleasure.
So when you get that history built up between you where you're able to trust that person with some of your secrets and things like that, and you can love them as you love your own soul like Jonathan and David, then you can bring them in and you'll enjoy them just like your old friend, but don't be too hasty to credit them, because bad things can happen like that, maybe in the form of suicide. So just to touch real quickly on the form, because the young girl committed suicide to herself at 15 years old, what does the Bible speak about those kind of things? Let's go to Sirach chapter 30. And we're going to read verse 21.
It's the book of Sirach chapter 30, verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
And that's what happened to this young girl.
Right.
She afflicted herself in her own counsel and gave herself over to heaviness. She kept repeating, as the video says, she kept repeating to her mother, I got to get him back. I got to get him back. I owe them, Mama. I owe them. She was afflicting herself in her own counsel until a few hours later, 3 hours later, it says, she took her own life. So read that again.
Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Give me Isaiah 26 and 3 real quick. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3. Afflict not your mind over to that heaviness. You may be going through something, may have been done wrong by a friend, may be in a situation like that. But don't afflict your mind in that. What does God say? 26 and 3.
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee.
So what, instead of giving your mind over to heaviness, you give your mind to the Most High. How do you do that? You seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. Study your history. Study what God requires of you as an Israelite man or woman. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Because when your mind is focused on the Lord, you won't fall into temptation of taking your own life like the young girl did.
Right.
Because you'll read things that the joy of the Lord is your strength. You'll strengthen yourself in these scriptures, build yourself back up, and then you'll learn how to choose a friend more wisely next time. So let's go back to Sirach chapter 30, read verse 21 again.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Read on.
The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days.
Read on.
Love thine own soul, and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow had killed many.
And that's what happened in this case of this teenage girl. Sorrow of being exposed in a naked video on Snapchat ended up taking her life. And it's not just her, it's been many women who suffer from depression, especially black women here in America suffer in very high depressions, but they don't want to admit it a lot of the times, but they have a high rate of depression. And that depression can kill you, is what God's saying. Read on.
And there is no profit therein.
No profit therein in that depression, in that pondering on that, afflicting your own mind with those thoughts.
Right.
Because you can't change it by just thinking on it. So God says, give your mind over to me, and I'll take care of it. Focus and meditate on him. Read verse 24.
Verse 24. Even envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Envy and wrath shorten the life. Now let's go to, I want to go to Sirach chapter, I believe it's 38. We 38. Now this is for some people that may be suffering from some people that know somebody that have passed on or maybe have committed suicide or in a state of mourning. This is for you, and just so you don't fall into that same pattern that they did. Read that in 38 verse 16.
The book of Sirach chapter 38 verse 16. My son, let tears fall down over the dead and begin to lament.
So there's nothing wrong with crying and mourning for those that have passed on. Read on.
As if thou hadst suffered great harm thyself, and then cover his body according to the custom, and neglect not his burial.
Read on.
Weep bitterly, and make great moan, and use lamentation, as he is worthy, and that a day or two.
Just as the mother in that video was moaning, using lamentation that her daughter had passed, God says, weep bitterly for what? A day or two. Let it all get out, because you'll never see that person again. It says, weep bitterly for a day or two. Read on.
Lest thou be evil spoken of.
Because if you don't mourn, people may say, oh, well, you really didn't care about him at all in the first place. I haven't seen you shed any tears. You didn't really care in the first place. Read on.
And then comfort thyself for thy heaviness. For of heaviness cometh death.
So after that day or two is up of mourning, God says if you continue on, that heaviness, that depression will set in on you, and it's going to cause death in you. Read on.
And the heaviness of the heart breaketh strength.
Now, it may not even be to the point of where you end up taking your life in depression, but it can make you lose your mind. And then you end up in a psychiatric ward. And that's the furthest thing from what you want when in these type of situations right there. Is that it on that? Read verse 20.
Verse 20. Take no heaviness to heart. Drive it away and remember the last end.
Drive it away from you. How you going to do that? By meditating on the scriptures. Read.
Forget it not, for there is no turning again. Thou shalt not do him good, but hurt thyself.
So if someone's passed on and you find yourself in the midst of depression, mourning for more than the time that God says you should be, beware of that, because there's nothing you can't do. You're going to end up hurting yourself. You can't bring them back from the grave. Read on.
Remember my judgment, for thine also shall be so. Yesterday for me, and today for thee. When the dead is at rest, let his remembrance rest, and be comforted for him, when his spirit is departed from him.
So when the dead is at rest, let them rest in that state until the Most High returns, and then he unites all of us. With that, we say shalom. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Jew Journal.
Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join I.U.I.C. will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join I.U.I.C. to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join I.U.I.C. channel to get your latest updates on all our YouTube channels. Shalom.